Hey everybody, Casmo here. Welcome to the channel. And today I have a special guest. Wolfpack345 is with us. I appreciate you stopping in, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad at all. Yeah, so I've been wanting to talk with you for a while, and I want to say I really appreciate the fact that you agreed to come on. I know we were talking earlier. You said you've actually never done an interview. You've been around for quite a while. I mean, when did you start your channel out?
Yeah, so I started my YouTube channel quite, like you said, quite a while ago. I want to say I don't know, maybe 2015, 2014, something
Yeah.
like that. But it was not anywhere near as popular, and I didn't really put out as much content as I do now. My uploads were pretty sporadic, and just like whenever I felt like it, I'd throw something up.
All right.
Um, I I forgot one year, like I kind of made a New Year's resolution to actually upload one video a week,
Yeah.
which now sounds like nothing.
Oh yeah.
That's not a whole lot, but I mean it was just kind of I just had it. I was doing other hobbies at the time, like Warhammer 40,000, for example. I was playing a lot of that and had other things to do, but the past couple of years now, I really started putting more and more work into it and more, I guess, thought into my content. And I think it's kind of shown because the channel's kind of exploded. Like you said, I've been around a while, but I have not been, air quotes here, big.
Right.
Obviously, there's more YouTubers out there, content creators with much larger subscriber counts. But at the start of this year, I had like maybe 1,500 subscribers. So
Really?
yeah,
And you're at
yeah.
26,000.
Yeah, just over the course of, pretty much from January to now. Because
That's insane.
the first paycheck, all right, paycheck
Right,
money
yeah.
I got from YouTube was in January this year. So,
No kidding.
yeah, no, I'm
Wow.
not.
That's
I'm dead
insane.
serious.
So that's
Yeah,
interesting because I didn't know that, and that honestly that kind of changes the tone of the whole equation because um I
I
had no
fooled
idea.
you.
Yeah, you fooled me. No, but in a good way because that's incredible. You know what I mean? Like because I mean that's massive. So what I mean, what do you
Yeah,
attribute that to? Like what set that off?
I don't know, quite frankly. I like to think I do put a lot of effort into my content, but I
Yeah.
can't dismiss the fact that it's just luck with the algorithm.
Oh
Like a
yeah.
few of my videos kind of blew up and that kind of kick-started it, I
Yeah.
think.
Wow.
I had like I said, I do put work into my videos, but I think, maybe like 90% work, hard work and consistency and 10% luck does help. But yeah, like you said, it was pretty surprising, and it's kind of surprising to look back and see that. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting for sure.
No, that's incredible. I want to say the first video I saw of yours. I mean, it had to be over a year ago at this point. I want to say it was when like Flying Circus maybe first came out.
Yeah, I was pretty big into that for quite a while.
Yeah, you
Um,
were. And I want to say that was the first. I think that's why I paid attention more to it because I was in a job where I was working nights, and so it just screwed up my sleep cycles. I was sleeping like 3 or 4 hours a day, and I was up
been
at weird
there.
times. Yeah, and I was up at weird times. I was
Yeah,
watching stuff, and you just kind of let YouTube take you on the journey, and
for sure.
I think I somehow ended up on one of your videos, and I remember it specifically because, and we'll talk about that is you do put effort into it, and I think that's what I remember specifically about it was all of a sudden here's these I think you were flying Fokker DR1s and
Yeah.
and which I hadn't played a World War I simulator since I was a kid, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then you started like going off on like this narrative, and it was all like,
Yeah.
oh, so and so said this, and and it was like all this build up, and at first, I'm like half asleep probably, and I'm like, okay, he's like reading the script from the game itself or something. And then I kind of
Yeah.
realized like I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he's created this sort of narrative. Is that what you did?
So for some of the series, for most of the series, I do create my own narrative. I actually have like a whole book that I write in for most of my series, just like journal entries or whatever.
Yeah.
Like kind of like role playing, because that goes back to I played a lot of role playing games in the past. A lot of those old D&D games, like I guess Baldur's Gate is pretty relevant right now with 3 coming out. But
Yeah.
games like that. I think that's kind of influenced what I wanted to do. But for the flying circus campaigns, those were actually in those were the briefings
Okay.
of the things. I did embellish and
Yeah.
add a few things here and there, but like my recent like pretty much all the IL-2 careers with like the P-51 Mustang,
Right.
some of the Rise of Flight stuff. Yeah, I write all of that.
Yeah.
And IL-2 and Rise of Flight makes it pretty easy to kind of put yourself in the shoes of that pilot with their career generator.
Right.
As you go day to day, fighting through the war or whatnot.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
you're right. And I thought about that too, and it was like, okay, he's got the seed of sort of, and I was a role playing game, junkie when I was a kid, and I have a whole bunch of 40K stuff in the back. So you're with
yeah,
friends right now.
nice.
But yeah, I mean that's cool though because I mean I gravitated toward that just because it was interesting and it added some depth to what was going on instead of some things you just you watch a guy fly around and that can be
hmm
mildly entertaining. But were you doing that throughout, or is that something that was relatively new and contributed maybe to the channel getting some attention?
So I do want to say it's relatively new.
Hmm.
I'm trying to look here and see when I started it. I do play a lot of submarine simulators on the channel,
Yeah.
and I actually started doing these like it started as a captain's log as I was
Hmm.
sailing in like a U.S. fleet boat and Silent Hunter 4.
Hmm.
Just taking hints from Star Trek.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty
Stardate.
much Star Trek. And it fits nicely, right? But that series, let me see when this actually came out. April 30th, 2018. So that's when I started doing it.
Okay.
Um, and then eventually I was like, I was doing IL-2 stuff. I wasn't putting as much work into it. It was just me flying around. Well, this is unique, and I might as well branch it out to the rest of my content. And
Yeah.
now it's hard for me to make videos without doing something like that
Yeah.
because I do think it brings something special to the table, something different from someone flying around or whatnot,
Yeah.
that people like.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think it adds a little bit of flavor that it does make it stand out from the rest. Because again, letting YouTube just kind of make decisions for me, yours popped out as something different, which I thought was interesting. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan. That's really interesting to see that your channel would explode that. I mean, exponentially. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah,
And I
and
imagine that surprised the hell out of you.
yeah, it really did. I remember just checking my phone and I being excited like when I got 30 subscribers in
Oh
a
yeah,
month.
yeah,
It's
oh
like
yeah,
one a day. That's pretty good.
yeah.
And yeah, it really kind of came out of nowhere. It is surprising for sure.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
I'm with you. I had like a good run of like 100 in a week, and it
dude,
was like it
yeah,
was like, oh my God, it's like I can't even imagine, next week or next, month waking up and it's 26,000 from from 1,000 or
yeah,
whatever. That's gonna be
yeah.
mind blowing.
No,
Um,
yeah, and like it really. To go back to what I attribute to it, I do think it is also bringing something unique to the table.
yeah.
You do it with your videos. I think your videos are really well done, and you
Oh,
also have
thanks.
the expertise that
Yeah.
would draw people in, right?
Oh, I've tricked you
And
too.
well, and me, I I guess I just have storytelling
Right.
that I managed to I guess not exploit, but use
Yeah.
to make my videos more enjoyable. And I'm sure a lot of people, and I know it for a fact, just click on the video, watch the intro, and leave, and that's cool,
Right. Yeah.
because that's the unique part of my videos.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I think back to, if you'd have told me 3 years ago that people sit around and watch other people play video games on YouTube, I'd laugh.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like not that it's silly, but I didn't understand it at the time. And then, like I
yeah, it's
said,
just some dude talking to his computer.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
hard for those who don't know. It is actually pretty hard, so it makes what you do, more impressive. But then when I was in that job where I was just dragging ass, and I didn't have the energy. Like I had the time, I just didn't have the energy to want to play a game. And so I
Yeah.
did find myself watching people. And so, yeah, you're right in the sense that it's not just playing a game at that point. You're kind of telling a little bit of a story. And then, as you watch it, you gravitate towards it because you're compelled to finish the story, right? I want to see what happens to this person. Um,
Hmm.
I enjoyed the tank campaign that you did. I think it was fairly recently.
Yeah,
The
that's an interesting
IL-2.
one.
Yeah, and as a former tanker, I was on M1s when I first came in the army. I'm watching you and silently, whisper yelling. I'm like, no, 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 don't stop. I'm like, keep going.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
it was
didn't
so
know the
cool.
first thing about tanks.
Oh, yeah, nobody
Really.
does.
I'm more of a naval guy, in terms of, my reading and whatnot, but, it was cool. Tanks were an interesting change of pace from a gameplay perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were, like, yelling at their monitors. "Hey, this Wolfpack guy, what a big dummy."
Nah, and it
Yeah.
wasn't, it wasn't that bad. It was just, little things where you're just like, oh, I want to be like, it wasn't a criticism type. It was more of an excitement type thing. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to. It was like I want to be in that tank, or I want to be in the tank next to him. Because I honestly, I really enjoyed. I want to play that. I haven't played that yet, but I like
Yeah.
watching the rounds go down and I bounce off stuff, and it was pretty cool visually.
Yeah, we just a side note,
Hmm.
we can actually do that. You have IL-2, you can be my gunner in,
Really?
like, multiplayer or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on now.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we gotta try that out. It's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Yeah, and then so like you said, naval warfare seems to be one of your hot topics. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you have any like background or knowledge on this? Is it just something that's just interesting to you? Like why?
Yeah, never haven't served or anything like that. It's just,
Sure.
it's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Ever since a kid, submarines have kind of appealed to me.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. It's just something about them. They're terrifying,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I can't. It's hard to picture being in one.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. No.
yeah, Um, but yeah, a lot of these. I don't know. Yeah, they've always just interested in me. I've always, read about them, and I still read about them. Various,
Hmm.
sources whenever I can get my hands on them because, oh, they're just overall interesting machines, interesting how they conducted warfare during
Yeah.
the Second World War, the First World War. Modern submarines are cool, but um, you know,
Yeah.
I
It's
gotta you
different.
gotta stop somewhere.
Yeah, I've met some submarine guys in my travels, and they have the weirdest stories and just things that just make my skin crawl.
Yeah.
One guy told me I was on vacation in Jamaica years and years ago, and we ended up sharing essentially like a bungalow or something with this other guy, and he was a Navy guy, same rank as me, but he was a submarine guy, and so we got to chatting, and he's telling me these weird stories. The one was like they were in the middle of the Atlantic, and they would surface, and some guys would come out with rifles and look for sharks, and everybody else would go swimming. And I
Yeah.
can't even wrap. I mean, I don't like the ocean. Like I would not be a Navy man, but I just can't wrap my head around that. Just to be thousands of miles from nothing. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
yeah, and it's funny because I've never really put a lot of thought into submarines, but watching some of your videos, because I do actually enjoy. What is the one that I was just watching? Because I know you played a couple different ones. But there's the ones
Yeah.
where you're in the port of, in France and sailing. In fact, the one I just watched, you were leaving the port and then got attacked by planes like right as
Oh
you were
yeah,
leaving the
that's
port.
probably Silent Hunter 3. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it was epic.
that's just a solid game too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it makes me want to get into it.
yeah, and back. I think a big part of that, my fascination with naval warfare is really my family. Family is a Navy family.
Okay.
Grandfather served in the Navy on, guided missile destroyers and carriers for like 30 some odd
Oh
years.
my gosh.
Uh, Uncle served on the Iowa in the 80s. So,
Oh wow.
just hearing these stories, I don't know, passed down, it kind of, I don't know, it definitely rubbed off on me in a way.
Sure. What about on the aviation side? So, you do play a lot of IL-2. Do you fly in real life at all, or do you have any sort of interest in
I
that?
I want to. So I have flown, if you can count like like a discovery flight
Sure.
and like a Cessna. I do want to get my my private pilot's license one of these days.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just money.
Oh,
That's
yeah, absolutely.
the main thing holding me back there. It is an expensive thing to get into. But yeah, aviation is another thing that's always interested me, and I think that goes back to being a kid and playing some of these older flight sims,
Yeah.
and it's really just carried over to now.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't. I think flight sims are in a fantastic place right now too. I mean, we're kind of seeing a resurgence with
Yeah.
the new Microsoft Flight Sim, and
Yeah. Do you play that at all?
I flew it a bit. It's fun. It's more entertaining than I thought it would be, but
Mm.
you aren't shooting stuff, so I mean,
Yeah.
you're just flying from point A to point B. But it's still remarkable what they managed to do. Like that game is really impressive.
Mm.
The whole world being rendered and everything, and graphically,
Yeah.
it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I think with a game like that, and I haven't played a Microsoft Flight Simulator since, gosh, the 2004 timeframe, I want to say. But the thing about any sort of general aviation, civil aviation, you got to kind of create your own challenges because you're
Hmm.
right, it is boring in the sense that, I have my fixed wing private license, and yeah, it's not the same as flying, an attack helicopter. You just take off and like, well, I guess I'll fly north, and
Yeah.
I guess I'll turn here. And so you do have to kind of find these challenges of like, okay, I'm gonna make a route that I want to time. A lot of it's before you even take off, right? It's all
Hmm.
right. I'm gonna plan this route. Um, and it's funny that we're talking about this because flying circus, I think, is I derive some pleasure in flying circus because I'm having to figure out where the hell I am,
Oh yeah.
and look down. And I guess the same is for the
Mhm.
other IL-2 titles, but I think in Flying Circus you're going a little slower, so it's a little bit easier. Um, but the same thing with general aviation is you got to kind of find your own challenges, and then flying in the weather and doing instrument approaches and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see that being enjoyable, particularly if you do have a penchant for general aviation. But yeah, you're not shooting stuff, so after a while it just kind of gets kind of stale.
Yeah, and I have to admit the latest Microsoft Flight Simulator is the first like civilian aviation sim I've played.
Yeah,
Like seriously, besides like at a friend's house or whatever.
right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So,
So what
um,
other? I mean, so obviously, you're playing IL-2, you're playing these submarine games. Like what are there other games that you play just for fun? Like what do you like to do when you're not doing that?
man, I so it's kind of worked out that the games I upload on YouTube are some of my favorite games.
Right.
Silent Hunter 3 is probably my all-time favorite game, and the new IL-2 is great. I think it's a great flight simulator. And
Yeah.
then I've been flying more DCS as of late, learning the Hornet, getting more proficient in that, and that's been fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
Um, I like I said, that's really if when I'm playing a game, most of the time it is for YouTube. Now I do play some first person shooters like Arma 3,
Hmm.
Postscriptum, stuff like that. But man, yeah, other games, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
There's
I'm
not much I do.
I'm in that same boat where if I'm playing, I'm generally recording,
Yeah.
in the hopes that it's something worth playing and showing. Um, what about
And I lucked out. I mean, it's games I thoroughly enjoy. So um, at least I haven't like grown to hate some of these games or
yeah?
anything like that,
Well, wait a little bit on DCS and then we'll talk about this again. Um,
Oh no.
no, no, it's fine.
That's not a convincing argument to get me into
Right.
helicopters. You'd be sweet talking me.
Yeah. Well, the thing about DCS is it's consistently a work in progress. And if you go into that knowing that and accepting that, then it's okay. If you go into that thinking that it is completely polished, refined, and this is ready to go, yeah, you're going to be in a world of disappointment. So, and I think you know that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why like a lot of the like with the career generator in IL2. That's why most of my content's with that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just consistent. You get your Battle of Moscow package or whatever, and that's a solid experience right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
well, it does a lot of the work for you because you can't do that in DCS at all. The only
yeah, I
thing
guess
you
I'd have to make my own missions over and over,
right,
and that's a
and
lot of
that gets
work.
old. Yeah, and there's only so much you
Yeah.
can do with it. So because I'm just kind of struggling with that too. Like I really want to build some sort of multiplayer campaign in DCS, but I
Hmm.
mean, God, the hours I'm gonna have to devote to do that and do it all in advance, and yeah, it's a lot of work looking forward to. But with you're right with IL2 between the campaign generator, which sometimes disappoints. I don't know how many times in IL2 I've been, take off and fly to another airbase because we're moving, and it's like
Dude,
that's the mission.
I love that.
Really?
I love that. Yeah, the fact that it's just like whenever it's the same in Rise of Flight too.
Hmm.
Just like, okay, the squadron's moving today. Like, pack up your bags and fly from point A to point B. That just makes it more like I'm a part of the squadron.
That's true. It is
Um,
immersive.
yeah, it's immersive. I mean, yeah, it's boring, but I mean,
Yeah.
and there's days I'm sure it was boring for them. You know, that's
No,
like
that's true.
I don't mind when I go up over German lines and rise a flight or flying circus and don't find a thing. And that's just another day, you know.
No,
I
you're right. You're right. It's funny that you say that because I sound like the people that I can't stand in like the community that complain about, oh, it's not, I want it more real but less real. Like it's be careful
yeah
what you wish for, because you're absolutely right. Like most flights in combat, well, World War II is probably different, but most flights in combat, yeah, exactly. There may not be anything going on, or there may
yeah
be very little
exactly.
bit. I think the one that pushed me over the edge though with the campaign generator is we did one flight. I was doing the Russia side, and we moved to an airbase, and I was like, okay, I did it. And then the very next mission, we moved right back to the airbase we had just left. And I was like, okay, no,
Oh
I'm walking
man,
away. I can't do this.
yeah, that's the Eastern Front right there, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. That's funny.
um, but then and then you've got the Pat Wilson campaign generator, which has been pretty solid as well. And
Yeah,
does a lot of the work for you, which I think, and I've not played with it much in the World War II setting, but I felt like when I did, the Pat Wilson one was giving me a little bit more diversity in types of missions,
it does.
and certainly more action.
Yeah, it does. And you can like tweak it for however you want.
Yeah,
It's definitely a more versatile tool than the stock campaign generator.
yeah.
My ME262 career,
How
I
was it?
did with Pat Wilson's, and
Okay.
there's quite a bit of variety there. Lots of stuff going on the ground.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's a solid tool. It's great. He
yeah.
does a great work for it.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and it just gives me, like I was talking to Rod White in an interview, and it was making me think back to when I was a kid and sort of the as he defined the golden age of flight sims, and it just kind of had that feel where you just log in and here's a mission and go do it.
Yeah,
Now games kind of rely a lot on these scripted campaigns because they're so complex and there's just so much going on that you can't possibly leave it to chance. It's got to be
yeah.
something that's handcrafted. But the problem with that is it just gets stale. There's only so many times you can do it. But Pat Wilson, I mean, you could just keep doing that forever, conceivably. Especially with the range of planes that they have, you could just keep swapping around.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do anything,
Yeah,
really. And that's why I think the role playing in these games does make it keep it fresh for me anyway. Because
yeah,
I'll be like, I don't know, doing dishes or something, and I'll think of something, write
yeah,
it down. You're like, that's a good idea for
yeah.
later. I'll save that. So, um, oh, adds a little bit of spice.
Yeah, well, that's a good kind of segue to what I do want to talk about is like your workflow, because like we were talking about, I think before we started recording, is you're putting out a lot of content recently. I mean, it seems like almost every day my phone is buzzing and saying Wolfpack just posted this video, and sometimes I feel like my phone probably is playing catch up with some things, but it seems a few times a week something's coming out.
Yeah.
And this is your side hustle, so like talk through how do you just nuts and bolts, how are you doing this stuff, like what kind of time are you putting into it, how much prep work do you do, like just kind of go through as whatever you can share with that.
Yeah. So I pretty much, once again, the games do a lot of the heavy lifting for me.
Hmm.
With going from day to day in IL2 or in Silent Hunter, for example, that's another game where you progress through the war.
Hmm.
And I pretty much just write like that journal entry down as I'm kind of playing, getting ready and whatnot. Fly the mission, um, and IL2 has a pretty good track recorder, so you can get a lot of the cinematic shots afterwards.
Yeah.
And that Man, that thing's so good. I tried to make a video, like a cinematic video for DCS,
It's
and
hard.
yeah, it's hard, that's for sure. I think I managed pretty well, but it's just the IL-2 one is very easy to use.
Well, you
Um,
can rewind.
oh
Like
yeah, there's that too.
that, like in DCS, I mean, maybe there's a way that I don't know, but there's no going back as far as I know. So if you miss the
Yeah.
shot, it's like, well, I guess I gotta start this over.
Yeah, and then this mission, my Hornet just nosedived into the dirt whenever it didn't do that, and like when I was flying it, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I guess that's it for cinematic shots.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
guess there's a trick because I learned that too very early on in my channel. Not to steal your air here, but uh, I guess if you fast forward in the replay, because what it's doing is it's not playing back what happened. It's
Mhm.
actually, from what I understand, it's actually inputting all the same controls and commands.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so if you play it on fast, it's essentially outrunning those controls and commands. And so you may have put in some sort of nose forward command, but now it's hitting at a weird time, and so now it's nosing the aircraft over. So if you
Oh,
fast
okay.
forward beyond, like I don't remember the speeds, but like two
Dude, I
times
was
or four times, if you go past that, you run the risk of it just going crazy. Is what I understand.
that's what happened then because I was
Yeah,
gassing it.
yeah. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like an
but
alternate dimension or something. But
yeah, right.
but anyway, you're saying yeah. So IL-2 definitely. I agree. I've only recently started playing with that. I know what you're talking about,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
I've seen
it's
your videos.
it's a lot better cinematics, and it is good. Like I don't know, it's smoother looking. I think the way that the
Mhm.
cinematics come out, even though some people have come with some wild stuff for DCS. So
Oh yeah, like those trailers are fantastic.
mm,
Like I don't know how they do it, but like a lot of these, cinematic trailers that some of these guys do are really impressive for DCS.
yeah,
Um but but yeah, like I said, the games do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then I don't know, I kind of just sync it all up. I After I'm done recording the video flying, I go back and record the journal entry in like Audacity or whatnot,
mm,
and then I have like templates for all my videos for all my series. So at the beginning, I have to go through. I have like a like IL-2 Moscow career,
mm,
template.
right,
So all the intro stuff is pretty much set up, and I just have to plug it in.
right,
Um, I've definitely streamlined my process over the past year, really,
yeah,
and made it pretty efficient. I actually haven't timed myself doing it because I have to admit I have now that I've gotten bigger, I have put probably more time into it. Like not necessarily, I guess, proof viewing
yeah,
my
yeah,
videos,
yeah,
so to make sure I don't say anything too stupid.
yeah.
you know, um, so I guess some time goes into that, but
Sure. Yeah, that's I think that's huge is you have to go back and watch your stuff before you post,
yeah.
because I do that all the time and I'll catch some random little thing that's just like, that screwed everything up.
I didn't do that before.
Sure.
And just like if there's something terrible in this, the viewers will find out and let me know.
Yeah, yeah.
Just throw it out there. But yeah, I mean, I I don't know. It's hard to go into detail because
Sure.
I mean it's kind of second nature. I think the more you do it, the like anything, the
Yeah.
more practice you get, the more proficient you get with the editing software, the faster you're able to do these things and more efficiently.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I
and
think some of it probably, at least for me, it's a little bit of appetite suppressant because, like you said, you're washing dishes, you're thinking something. The same thing, like I'm driving to work and I'm thinking about a video that I've done or I'm in the process of doing, and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I showed a scene of, this. And I'll try and do it sometimes, and I'll realize that it took me an hour, to log into the game, to put the aircraft in the right position or to find the right spot in a track file because I'm really looking for like a 3 second blip,
yeah,
and you're trying to find it in an hour long video and then you're trying to splice it into the right spot, but oh, it's only a second too short to really match up with the right thing. Next thing you know, you've spent an hour, 2 hours trying to make this little thing that no one's really going to notice.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess arguably you could say, yeah, but that's what puts, a good video to great. But you got to ask yourself like, okay, what's the payoff? What's the return on my investment for this? Is it worth it for me to do that? Because yes, it's going to look better, but is it going to look better enough to matter? You know?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think I again with the games I play, they do a lot of the heavy lifting and
Sure.
whatnot. But I it's not. It's more for me
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
I want to push the boundaries of what I can do quality wise.
Hmm.
I'm always looking to make my videos better and better. Like audio was a big thing for me for a
Yeah.
while, tweaking my audio so it sounds better.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see it over my series, my audio getting better and better.
Yeah.
And quality of the videos like was a big thing for a while. So I just go through phases, tweaking things, and yeah, just getting more efficient at tweaking and editing in general, and remembering when I say something dumb so I can just cut to that piece and know what I want to cut out.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like anything else. It's just practicing. Um, I when I record, I don't record one whole segment. I start my recording and stop it.
Hmm.
Um, so that way I don't have to go through and cut a lot.
Yeah.
Like my cuts are already just there, so I just plug it in like that.
No, I think audio is probably one of the most challenging things. It's something I'm still struggling with, but yeah, it's hard to get it right.
Yeah, it's always a balancing act. I feel like I can't just have one standard setting
Hmm.
for all my videos. I always have to, adjust this thing by like 2 decibels,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard. Audio is a big one.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference. If it's crap, people notice it's crap very early on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my
true.
first ones were not good, and people commented on it, and it's just like, ugh, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do, I don't have all this fancy stuff, and and especially when you're starting out or you're small, you're like, well, how much do I really want to invest in this? Like, I'm already investing time, but
Yeah.
do I really want to put hundreds of dollars into the equipment? Like, what is my long-term goal? And so when you started your channel, I mean, what was the goal? Like you just for fun, just like I mean, what was your vision?
Yeah, I n- I never expected my channel would be where it's at today.
Sure.
I know everyone says that, but it was
You're right.
100% true. I never thought I would have 26,000 people,
Yeah.
watching, my videos or liking my content enough to subscribe.
Yeah.
It was really just for fun. I enjoyed the game. I wanted to learn something new, and that was video editing.
Yeah.
Um, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And like I said, it's been off and on, and on recently for quite a while now, going probably a year and a half, 2 years strong. But yeah, I mean, I once again, I never thought it would be like this. I
Sure.
thought my peak was 500
Right.
subscribers.
Yeah.
You know. Um, oh, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I remember hitting like 400 and being like, "Oh my God. Like there's no way that 400 people subscribe." And then if you look, I imagine your analytics probably say the same as mine and just about anybody else. It's like, okay, number of people that view your videos that are subscribers is probably around the 40-50% mark. I would guess.
Oh
Um,
wow. No, mine is I have way more people
really?
unsubscribed watching my videos than subscribed watching my videos.
Really?
Yeah, and from what I've seen, that's actually the norm,
Hmm.
which is surprising.
Yeah.
So 40% subscribers that regularly watch your content, that's pretty darn good,
Oh,
I
well,
think.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
that's
I think probably algorithm has a lot to do with that though, because your stuff is probably getting, queued up a lot, and
yeah,
so a
exactly.
lot more people are just almost happenstance watching your stuff because it's instantly just kind of getting rolled into the Rolodex, whereas mine probably is not. Um, but yeah, still, but then that's even more impressive, right? Because that means it's well over 26,000 people that are watching. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's big numbers on the board. And again, for
yeah,
such
that's
a
a good
short
one.
period of time for it to just explode like that, I had no idea. I always assumed it was sort of exponential. You know, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you've got a lot of obviously fans, and you've got a Discord channel. Um, how it seems like I think I've seen you do some other multiplayer stuff. I know you've started flying with our group, which has been blast. But and I've seen you do some other stuff with other people. I mean, it seems like you're trying to get out there and just engage with people and kind of build a little bit of community yourself.
Yeah. I I'm really lucky that I have a community like for the Discord. I don't really have to manage, you
Right.
know. It's not there's not a lot of, I don't know, bad things
Drama.
or,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have to moderate,
Yeah.
which is definitely good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like that'd be a time sink. Yeah, I've gotten into multiplayer more and more recently, probably in this last year.
Hmm.
I was not big on flying in multiplayer, in any games, but
Yeah.
when I do DCS now, it's normally with other people.
Sure.
I fly IL2 with y'all in your, flying circus campaign,
Yeah.
and yeah, I fly with another group quite often. So it's just something to get into, and it's a challenge because I've been fighting against AI in all these games,
Yeah.
and it does not match a player.
No.
There's things that can make it hard, like my I-16 career in IL2.
Hmm.
Uh, that is difficult because that plane is not good,
Right. Yeah.
you know. Um, Relatively anyway, it
Right.
was pretty good for it when it rolled out, um, but yeah, fighting another human is just another challenge. So when I'm flying for fun, it's mostly online at this point.
Hmm.
And it's also interacting with other people. Like it's fun like talking, when you're flying, like talking to y'all, in the flying circus thing or, having wingmen that actually respond to you. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty fun.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, there's varying levels of multiplayer, right? There's just log into a server and just get wrecked, which is my IL2 experience. Anytime I log into just a random server, I'm just a meat puppet for somebody else. My
Let me know
dogfighting
when you're
skills are
flying.
turned left, so but and then there's cooperative multiplayer, which I really enjoy because I agree with you. Like, I feel like I'm almost in a room with no TV or no noise or anything when I just play against the AI and it's just a single player game. Like, it's like there's no outside stimulus. I'm just inside this little world and it gets kind of
Mhm.
boring. But I like that. Hey, turn left. Hey, hell, just the mission that we just did in Flying Circus where we didn't see one damn German, but we
That was
got.
terrifying.
I mean, it was awful. Like, just
Yeah.
just put punched into the clouds, lost as hell, trying to find each other, but it was fun. Like I think
Mhm.
you made a joke like, "Well, this is not going to be compelling YouTube content," and you're probably right. But I'll throw it up anyway just to show everybody what bad pilots we really are. Um,
Yeah.
but
Exposed.
yeah, exactly. In fact, yeah, now I know what to now I know what to title it.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and it was fun because we were all sharing that experience. And if that would have happened just with the AI, like it would just been like, turn this off and just restart, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Um no, yeah, flying with others is fun, and like the cooperative like Pat Wilson's is been a blast
Yeah.
the few times I've been able to join. So,
Yeah.
um yeah, it's just that experience just like hanging out. It's cool.
Yeah, especially these times, right, with COVID, and you can't, you talked about Warhammer 40K, and I mean,
Yeah,
probably
you can't
probably
do
where
that.
you are, you can't really do that, unless you got
Yeah.
a bro that you trust is not not carrying the sickness and come over,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so it's another way of just kind of having some friendship, I guess you could say, but um, yeah, so DCS now is the new hotness. You're rolling into it hard with the Hornet, which we were
Yeah.
talking about the other night. I have not cracked the code on that bad boy at all yet. Of course, I haven't really tried, so I shouldn't beat myself up too much. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure you'd get it at this point. I mean, come on
it's all
now.
just buttons. Well,
Yeah.
it's funny. The
And
first time I flew it, it has it, because it's like the same developers and stuff. So a lot of the sounds were the exact same as in the Apache. Like
oh
it
yeah.
started going dee doo dee doo, things like that, and I was like, oh my god, that's this.
I know what that
Yeah,
means.
exactly. But yeah, I just need to put some time into it. The problem with DCI, I mean, it's the problem with IL2 as well. Is after a while you're in so many different planes, and I think it's worse in DCS just because there's so many different systems You know, versus IL-2, it's like, hey, does this thing have a radiator or not? You know,
Pretty much, and that's the difference between modern jets and
yeah,
warbirds. Like, I'm pretty sure I could hop in the DCS Spitfire and be fine.
yeah,
Um, the jets, it's just a whole nother ball game, and that's one of the main barriers of entry for me with
hmm
DCS is just devoting the time to learning.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and it's been a slow. I don't even know how long I've had the Hornet for. I've had it for a while, and it's just been off and on. You know, flying around, learning things.
Yeah,
Um, I've kind of devoted a bit more time to it recently because I've kind of been hooked. But yeah, it's just a time commitment, and I have
yeah.
more planes than I can probably ever learn at this point. So
Oh yeah, God, same. Yeah, I mean, I keep wanting to go to IL-2 and play it more, and then it like you said, it's a devotion of time that it's like, man, I can't afford any more brain space to give up to figure out how to make the P-47 not kill me every time I fly it. You know.
yeah.
Um,
Well, if you ever need somebody, I'm here. I can fly that one okay.
yeah, we need to. I need to get you to make me a better warbird pilot. And then I got you when
Yeah.
you get a helicopter, and we'll get it straightened out.
And I'm by no means good. So there's that too. But
Perfect, me
at
either.
least I know how to make the thing not explode.
Well,
I can manage that.
IL-2, man, I don't know. Like, it took me the longest time to be able to land in that game. I don't know if what I was doing wrong, but I think it was just my sight picture, and I probably thought I was more level than I really was, or things like that. And I was just constantly just banging that thing into the ground and crashing every
I,
time.
yeah, I'm not the best lander. My landings tend to be questionable at best.
Yeah,
But I have heard like using like VR, um, just using VR makes people land better.
right.
If you have depth perception and you can actually kind of tell, you can kind of see, where the ground really is instead of
Yeah.
just looking at the 2D screen. Um, but that's just what I've heard. I don't have VR
Yeah, I was gonna say we
yet.
were
Well,
kind of chatting about this the other night when we were playing Flying Circus. I think you and I were the only guys not with VR, and we were being VR shamed by everyone else for it.
no,
But that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure eventually I'll do it, but it's just not a thing that's I don't. There's a cost to that, and that cost is I have children who I guarantee will mess with me if I'm completely enclosed and can't pay attention to what's going on around me.
Sounds like you just need a lock.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I need like a room. That's the other problem.
Yeah.
That's my other challenge. I gotta wait till everyone goes to sleep before I can record. It's like, oh, good, it's 11 o'clock at night. Let me record something. That's high energy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't have kids, so that definitely
oh yeah,
it helps with my scheduling.
yeah. Be smart, don't start.
You said it.
Nah, they're
Uh,
they're a joy. And if you ever want some, let me know. I got four. I'll let you borrow
uh,
one or two.
I
Um,
am okay for the time being.
yeah,
I'd rather buy a VR headset.
yeah.
Yeah.
They are cheaper. Uh, um, okay, so yep, DCS. We're building on that. And I mean, any other kind of future plans? Or are you just kind of happy where things are at right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I have some ideas for like even more cinematic videos, more role playing type of deals. Mostly with Silent Hunter though,
Hmm.
to make that a bit more engaging. Um,
That's an
but
older
yeah,
game, right? That's a pretty old game.
yeah, from 2005,
Wow.
and it holds up fairly well. It's kind of a pain to get running at this point, as you would expect,
Sure.
but nothing else has come out that even matches it in terms of like submarine simulation, in my opinion.
Okay, so it's
Um,
not something that like is still being supported necessarily.
oh no,
It's
yeah,
just
it's
straight up like you just downloaded or got something old and made it work.
yeah. There's a
Wow.
pretty big modding community that's
Okay.
definitely increased the longevity of
Okay.
that game and made it something really special. And same with Silent Hunter 4. That's another good one.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm hoping just like we're seeing a resurgence in flight simulation games. I do think we'll see something similar with submarine games. There's already quite a few coming out.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see. That's definitely something I'm on the lookout for and excited for the future
Yeah.
of that genre. Anyway,
Well,
not
cool.
sure how much of your audience is into subsim, so
Man,
so they're not too bored.
no, you never know what people are into. Like, I mean, it's just like you. When I started my channel, I was like, I'll get 50 people to watch my stuff, like, and I'll be happy with that.
Hmm.
Um, and I was surprised, at the things that guys latch onto and want to learn more about, and the different aircraft that they're interested in. So yeah, I never count anything out. I want to expand. I want to play different games. I don't. What I don't want to do is be pigeonholed into being the helicopter guy, because
Yeah.
that only gets you so far. I want to do things. I want to be able to fly the Hornet. I'm pretty decent with the A-10, and I suck at IL-2, but I'd like to get better. Um, like we were talking the other night, I think we do want to do another campaign and do something World War II. And I am kind of gravitating toward the P-38, just because
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
it's a sexy plane.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then it's just other games I like to. I'm reinstalling Star Citizen. I haven't played that since February.
Oh
I don't know if you've
yeah.
ever gotten into that.
No, I played a bit. Okay, so one of my gaming addictions for a while was Eve Online.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I played the hell out of Eve. And the Star Citizen came out. I never put money into it, but I
Yeah.
played a little bit of Elite Dangerous.
Okay.
Um, and recently Star Wars Squadrons is actually quite a bit of fun.
Oh, really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't played
yeah.
that.
But yeah, space games. I'm surprised those aren't bigger either. I feel like
Yeah.
with how much money's been put into Star Citizen, more devs would hop in on that, try to
Yeah.
get a slice of that pie. But
Yeah, I was gonna
what do
say
I know?
like I mean, when I was a kid or a teenager or whatever, the X-Wing series, was a big deal, and
Yeah,
and I get that they're somewhat recreating that feel with the new squadrons, but it still seems kind of arcadish to me, just based on what I've seen.
yeah, it's definitely not as It's kind of weird saying simulation
Yeah.
for a space, fantasy game.
Yeah.
But it's definitely less simulation like than X-Wing versus TIE Fighter or any of those, X-Wing
Yeah.
games.
Well, I think what drew me to Star Citizen is I don't know if you ever played the old Wing Commander series.
I have not
Oh,
actually.
yeah. I mean, I imagine you're a bit younger guy than me, but Wing Commander, early '90s and stuff was
Mhm.
absolutely just at the time was amazing. It was just incredible. It looks like crap, it's all digitized, but back
Yeah.
then you're like, oh my god, and and it was a pretty formative game, I think, for people that grew up at that time, and of course this is made by the same people. It's kind of the spiritual successor to Star Citizen, so. I think that's appealing, and I played a lot of Elite Dangerous. I would say a lot, but I played a decent amount to the point that I just kind of got bored with it in the sense of like, okay, like, can I get out? Like, I don't want to just keep sitting in my ship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. Elite Dangerous, in my opinion, is very similar to Eve in
Hmm.
the way it's a sandbox and you can do whatever you want in
Right.
various
E-
mining,
Except get out of
destroying
your
fire.
ship.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Except Elite Dangerous, you use like a HOTAS. Um,
Yeah.
but every time I played Elite Dangerous, I was just like, this just makes me want to play Eve Online, man.
Hmm.
you know, like I could be doing the same sorts of things, but I already have more in Eve. I don't know how many other people have similar thoughts about that. I mean, on paper they look like pretty different games, but
Yeah.
uh, maybe it's just my fascination with Eve.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never gotten into Eve, so I don't know too much about it. Um.
Yeah, it's dubbed a spreadsheet simulator. That's what a lot of people call it, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Elite Dangerous was a lot of me looking online to figure out where to get the best prices for my, whatever helium or something.
yeah, yeah, that's what Eve is too. It's just like market simulator,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, Buying low, selling high.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with Star Citizen, it just for me it kind of scratched that itch that I was missing with Elite Dangerous, because I did enjoy the game, but I was like, okay, but I want to do something else. Star Citizen, yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying with DCS. You got to go into it with reasonable expectations that
Yeah,
something bad gonna happen. But as long as you don't go whole hog like some guys that it's like I saw a guy on Facebook said he put $6,000, and I know people put a lot more than that, but just this ton of money. I'm like, I put in like 45 and I'm
yeah,
good. Like I'm just gonna fly
that's
around with what I got.
reasonable.
But going back to the multiplayer thing, like I think that's where Star Citizen is really enjoyable because you can play with your buddies and be on the same ship, and that is a really cool thing.
Oh, you can be on the same ship? That is
Oh
cool.
yeah, oh
I didn't
yeah,
even know that.
oh yeah, dude,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That's what drew me to it because I'd heard about Star Citizen for years and years and years, and I was like, wow, whatever. And and I watched again on YouTube. I watched some guy, and it was him and two guys, and they were on the same ship, and like one guy's working the turret, and the other guy's flying, another guy's doing something, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, that's awesome, and
Yeah, that is pretty cool, actually.
yeah,
Huh.
so it might be worth checking out. Like I said, I think it's like $45.
Yeah, $45, that's reasonable.
Yeah,
6,000, not so much.
yeah, just so you can get a
You
bigger
hear
ship.
the horror stories, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not. I'd rather buy a new car or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I could do a lot of other things. My wife
yeah,
could do a lot of other things with $6,000. So
yeah.
yeah, I already had to sell my soul for the new computer, so I can't be buying fictional ships. But to each their own.
Uh,
I don't ship shame people.
no, yeah, that's cool. I mean, you do you.
Yeah, exactly. If you get
Yeah,
your
it's
thing.
not my money.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Um. Well, cool. So there's one last question I want to ask you.
Oh boy.
No, it's not a hard one.
Uh,
So the name Wolfpack 345. Where did that come from?
all right.
Uh,
So the Wolfpack, I had. It's actually based off a World War II submarine tactic.
sure.
German U-boats and later U.S. fleet boats in the Pacific would attack convoys, and they'd pretty much call it wolf packs. They'd all do it at the same time. One sub, I don't know how detailed you want.
Oh, go into
I
yeah,
can
go
just
man.
leave it at that. But
Oh.
yeah, they do like a picket line in the North Atlantic, and one U-boat would pick up a convoy
Hmm.
and radio to the others, and they'd all converge on that position
Hmm.
and attack the convoy. So yeah, it's a wolfpack tactic,
Okay.
and the I kind of drew inspiration from that because at the beginning, all I did was Silent Hunter.
Hmm.
That was my channel. I branched out into IL2 a little bit later.
Hmm.
Yeah, quite a bit later, and Rise of Flight even. And then the 345, dude, I just hit three numbers on my keyboard. Just 345 are right there. Shows you how much effort I put into it. Like, like it was totally a hobby. It was it was not going to be
Yeah.
like I wasn't thinking too hard about branding at that point in
Right.
time. You know,
And
but
well, it's
yeah.
funny. It's a funny story because you start off with like this very thoughtful, like, well, you see, back in the day, and then I just threw some numbers on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's right.
uh,
Oh,
but you're right, though. I mean, that's a huge thing that I'm struggling with on my end is branding. What? Because no one, I think very few people go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to be a successful YouTube person. Like
no,
that's just
no, and if you do, I think you'll fail,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, unless you
Uh,
know some magic trick that you and I probably don't know and will never know. But yeah,
yeah,
generally speaking, you're going into it, and I think what will push you over the edge, and I'm bringing this up because I'm sure there's people watching that have YouTube channels, and they're like 20 people, and they're like, I don't how do what am I missing or what am I not doing or whatever. Um, I think, and I think you're an example of this is are you genuine and are you sincere about what you do because you come across as very genuine about just having fun and sharing something that you enjoy. It's not about being good at it. Like I was telling somebody, like I don't care if you're good at flying a fictional spaceship or a biplane or something because I don't need to see that. But do I enjoy watching you? Do I enjoy listening to you? Do I want to devote that time to seeing what you're doing? For me, I think that's what puts people over the edge. And I think that's probably what definitely hit you is, something somewhere triggered and more people notice that. And then the YouTube algorithm kicks in and just kind of snowballs. Um,
yeah, I think that's true.
yeah.
If you like what you're doing, people will know.
Yeah.
People will know if you don't like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Even more. Like it's pretty easy to see like this guy is not enjoying himself.
Yeah.
And sometimes and and some of these Silent Hunter videos, getting depth charged or in IL-2 getting shot up. I'm not necessarily enjoying it. It's stressful,
Right.
but but that's different than
Yeah.
being in it purely for money or
Yeah.
or thinking, I don't know, just wanting to be successful out of it and just do what you like. And some people can make their channels on being really good virtual pilots.
Sure. Yeah.
um I knew I could not, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to try, because I I'm just there are guys out there that are really good at IL-2,
Mm. Oh yeah.
much better than I could ever be.
Yeah.
Um, so I knew my strengths, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, I think that's an important distinction. That's something that I've not struggled with, but certainly come to Jesus with very early on. Is because I have people ask me like, "Oh, can you do a tutorial on this thing?" And I'm like, "Well, I can, but this other guy already did one, and it's good because it's what I watched. That's how I figured
Mhm.
out how to fly this thing, and I don't feel like reinventing the wheel. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, I think for me too, I'm just trying to like you said, just be enjoy myself, which is hard because sometimes the computer's acting up or the game's glitchy or something like that, and now you're just pissed off and you don't really want to show that side unless it has something to do with the tactical scenario, I guess you could say. But
yeah,
yeah, no, I think that's important for anyone who thinks about wanting to do this. So if somebody's listening to this and they're kind of hemming and hawing about it, I think you got to have that right mindset, and that kind of goes back to my listening to your or watching your videos early on. When I started kind of debating this, do I want to do that? And my motivations were really, I sort of tongue in cheek. I was tired of seeing jet guys get all the glory.
uh,
As a helicopter guy, you go through your whole life being second best. Like that's just in the aviation world, everyone like fawns over jets. Oh, so great. And I'm over here with like, well, these helicopters are pretty cool too. Like
yeah,
they're
dude,
pretty
that's
impressive.
crazy.
It,
Helicopters are impressive. They're fucking wild, man.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like the thing does not want to fly, and I'm
Yeah.
flying it. And then there's a lot. I mean, especially with something like the Apache, there's just a lot of technology that I don't think people recognize. But and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, but I don't really see an advocate for that. And it's like, well, maybe I'll start something. And then you get into the second guessing yourself of, well, I don't want to put myself out there because what are my Pizos gonna say to me? Am I gonna get shade thrown at me about it? Um,
Hmm.
but as I kind of came to the conclusion that I wanted to do it, honestly, your channel was one of the things that I tried to. I don't want to say I didn't want to copy it, but I aspired to be that level of genuine content where it wasn't assuming. It wasn't like this. I'm going to show you how it's done. It's just, hey, I'm going to go have fun with this, and if you want to come along and watch, you can. And that's the way your videos in particular, as I think about all the other kind of YouTubers that I've seen or watched. I think yours kind of hits that mold. So you've certainly found the right spot, in my opinion. And adding that sort of role play aspect to it is definitely helping. So I think it's great stuff.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that actually. I'm glad. And if you're like just talking to anybody here, if you want to start a channel, like I'd go ahead and do it. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to dedicate some time, like all you have to lose is time, really.
Yeah.
And if you want a hobby, I mean, just hop in. I mean, it's interesting learning some of these like editing softwares. It's
Hmm.
just it's fun. It actually is fun. Um, for me anyway.
Yeah,
So I
it's
guess
a
if you
creative outlet.
exactly, yeah,
Because you're
that's
right,
a
it's not
good way
just
of
about
putting it.
playing the game. You're right, like it is playing with editing software and even just marketing and branding and trying to figure out, and we kind of drifted away from that, but you kind of figuring out like, well, what is my look? And I'm sure
Yeah,
you went through the same growing pains that I kind of am now. I'm at the 6 month mark, I want to say, um, and trying to figure out like, okay, what does my look look like, and
Yeah.
what do I have as a logo, and how do I do things? And now we're doing this podcast deal, and I'm just kind of like, okay, is that me, or is that something different that I'm just a part of? Like, I don't know how to do this stuff. And so yeah, so before you throw just random numbers on the end of your name, you definitely want to think, ask yourself, what happens if I do one day get big? But no, it works. That's
Yeah,
funny. That's
yeah.
a
Put
good
a little
story.
more thought, I guess. I mean, honestly, the 3, 4, whatever. I
No, it's
stick
cool.
by it. Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
there you go. Own it.
I'm not like I'm gonna delete my channel.
Right. Yeah. Let me
You know?
start over, guys. Everybody
Yeah,
transition over here.
like
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm gonna start a Minecraft channel or
Oh
something. That's
Lord.
where all the money is, right?
I, I have 3 kids of the four who will watch endless plays of Minecraft.
Yeah,
If I'm not letting them play Minecraft, they are watching someone else play Minecraft. And
that's that's great though. That's fine.
oh, I mean, it's great. Like, what's funny is, again, now that I've done this, and you've gone through these growing pains too, because we were talking about it earlier. It's harder than it looks to have dialogue and to sit there and play a game and talk to people who aren't actually there,
Yeah,
and have these sort of one-sided conversations, and sort of just fill that dead air with constant noise, because some of those Minecraft players, I mean, they are just, if they're not talking, like something's wrong, like they just keep
yeah,
going. And it's not a dig on them, it's just they have found that niche where they can keep talking, and there's no pause, there's no thought. It's just, I already know what I'm going to say for the next hour, or or whatever they're doing. And
yeah.
it's
That's
impressive. I mean, being on the other side of the coin, looking at it, it's like, I can't do that. Like,
I can't do that either.
I try to do these things where I'm like going to show somebody how to, I don't know, hover, something, and I'm like tripping all over myself. And I was like, "Fuck, I know how to do this. Like, I have thousands of hours doing this, and I can't
Yeah.
talk about it and do it at the same time." So yeah, so it's impressive.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and I guess going. I don't know how much you've thought about doing like live streaming, but
yeah.
that's one of the issues I have with that.
Hmm.
Like I have pretty long streams. I think
Yeah.
like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of that is the content I play. It's much slower paced.
Yeah.
I don't know how some of these guys can stream for say even 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine myself being entertaining for that long.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's impressive what some of these people are able to do.
Now, do you
Um,
stream like multiplayer, or is it all just single player?
so I mostly I am streaming multiplayer,
Okay.
just hanging out.
Yeah.
Um, I also on my Twitch channel I stream games that maybe I wouldn't necessarily put on my channel as it doesn't fit the theme, like
Sure.
Star Wars Squadrons. I stream that.
Okay.
Um, so
Yeah.
it's
That's
just
something I've
whatever.
been interested in doing, and like, as we were talking the other day, I just traded in my large Texas Instruments calculator of a computer for something that will actually stream and stuff. So
Yeah.
I have thought about getting into it, but that's an interesting point that you bring up. It's like, use that as a second venue to do things that you wouldn't normally do on your channel, because you've kind of made yourself a name in flight simulation, and the submarine stuff. But if you decided to, if we'll just pick on Minecraft, if you suddenly wanted to play Minecraft, then yeah, maybe it's something that you stream, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
I agree with you that streaming and just being you is challenging. It's got to be challenging, but when you're doing it with your boys, like, it's probably a little bit more palatable
Yeah.
for someone to watch, because now
Yeah,
they
I mean,
feel
you're
like
just
they're part of
playing
the
the game.
crew.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
right. And I think that's a big part of it
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, now you've given me my Star Citizen idea. So okay, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna have to stream Star Citizen then.
Yeah, you got to let me know when that is. I'll
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. No, well, now we got to get you in, man.
Oh, we'll see. That's all I need is
Oh yeah.
another game another time commitment game.
Oh yeah. God, that's just what my wife wants to hear from me too. Like, oh, I'm gonna stream. Oh really? What night is that gonna be? Between Flying Circus Wednesdays, Fight Night Thursdays, Flying Circus Saturday, and then editing all that crap every other day.
Hey, she has your schedule memorized. That's impressive.
She's getting there.
That's good.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
but then she changes the name, I think purposely, to just make fun of me or something, because here it is, like, oh, you're a 42-year-old man and you're playing video games and people are watching you. Like, yeah, get over it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Where's your YouTube channel?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah, show me
Yeah,
where yours
start
is
your
at.
own.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope she's listening. I'm sure she isn't. Well, cool, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but this has been fun.
Yeah, this has been fun. I agree. I think it's I was kind of nervous for it. Like I said, it's the first time I've ever done something like this. So
No, well,
but we've
it,
talked before, so it wasn't really. It's just talking.
yeah.
Just
Well, it's so funny. Like, when I sent you a note, gosh, it was a couple of weeks ago at this point. I had it in my head. I'm like, oh, this guy probably gets, notes from people all the time, and people pulling on his shirt tails and asking him questions and stuff. And I was like, I
no,
probably
not
never
really.
hear from this dude, or if I do, it'll be this short thing. And I mean, you got back to me pretty quick, and then we were like chatting for a while, and I was like, man, he's a good dude. Like he's like just genuine. Like that's just the word. Like when I talk about you with other people, I'm like he's just seems like a very genuine dude. So no, it's been good talking to you, and I was super excited when you said you wanted to fly along with us on the flying circus.
No,
Um,
yeah, that's
I
it's
was,
been a blast.
yeah, I was a little starstruck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you right now. I was a
Oh,
little.
no, well,
No, the thing that killed me, and later I texted buddy was like, "Can you believe he said that?" We were I think it was the first flight on the flying circus, and I mentioned something about a joystick extension, and I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I made my own, and you were like, oh yeah, I watched that video, and I was like, in my head, I was like, what? Did he just say he watched my video? Like, what are you
yeah,
talking
dude.
about? Like,
Dude, your content's good.
oh man,
Stop selling yourself short, man. I'm telling you, you're an you're like you're a genuine guy too. I do like your content too. Like it comes off as genuine,
yeah,
and I guess the same way you think of mine. So it is interesting to watch, and like you do have the expertise that is interesting as well. So yeah, you make great stuff, man.
did we just become best friends?
If that's what it takes,
Oh Lord,
I guess so.
I guess so. All right, well, we'll practice the secret handshake later. Um,
Hell yeah.
Well, cool, man. Yeah. So, again, I really enjoyed this conversation. I appreciate you taking the time. And I appreciate, I guess, I don't know how to frame it, the YouTuber friendship, though, because, I do ask you questions, and I think that we've got this level where we can chat, and I'm interested to
Yeah.
learn about your growth, and definitely not to steal it. And that's what I think too. People have to understand if you are thinking about starting a channel or something, it's not really a game of like competition of like,
No.
well, I don't want this guy to succeed. There's only so much content out there, and people just want more, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna reach a point where it's like, well, I've already watched all of that guy's stuff. I want to watch somebody else's. So it's not a matter of competition. You want other people to succeed, and I'm interested
Help
in
you.
this where we can have conversations. So it's this like, oh yeah, okay, Wolfpack, he knows this guy. I want to watch his stuff. Oh, and he knows this guy, and it just kind of builds the community overall. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that level of contribution to that concept. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's been a blast. This has been good.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime in the future once we get you in a Star Citizen and we're streaming.
Yeah, once I'm flying a helicopter around in DCS,
Dude, we're
that'll
doing it,
be.
man. I,
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'll buy one next sale. Don't you
Perfect.
worry about it.
So yeah, and then I've got a Hornet pilot in my Discord, and
Oh, we can do that some more. Yeah.
I've already talked to him a little bit, and I was like, hey, I want to do a thing where it's like you're flying a Hornet, I'm flying a helicopter. We'll do like some joint tactic stuff. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah,
That'll be pretty cool.
yeah, we got to build the team. So, but yeah, absolutely, I will be super stoked to show you what little I know about flying helicopters, and
Yeah, I'm sure you're just you know nothing, right?
I fake it till I make it, man.
Yeah.
Just surround
Yeah.
myself with smart people and have them tell me behind the scenes what to say. Um,
Oh man, yeah. You have an earpiece.
yeah, exactly.
Live. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't read directly what's on the screen. Uh, well, cool, man. I appreciate it. Let's definitely do this again and get some more games going.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right.